working on the trade deals. One big beautiful bill is the center of the tax deal, and we are constantly deregulating and unleashing American energy, American manufacturing, and letting the American people keep more of their money.
Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent laying out President Trump's plan for economic growth. The newly released June jobs report hiring shattered expectations, easy for me to say. 147,000 jobs added just last month. Unemployment also ticked down to 4.1%. Let's bring in Stephen Miran, Council of Economic Advisors Chairman. Stephen, good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
So 147,000 jobs beating expectations. What's your analysis of it?
This was a great report, and you know it's the fourth time in a row the president has beat expectations on Jobs Day. Four times in a row, and not only did he beat expectations, but he beat.
মানুষ কখনো মানুষকে ঠকিয়ে ভালো থাকতে পারে না, কখনো না। একটা সময় আসবে তুমি নিজেই হাঁটু গেড়ে বসবে, আর যত বড় খেলোয়াড় হও না কেন একটা জায়গায় দাঁড়িয়ে তোমাকে হাঁটু গাড়তে হবে।
Some critics of the president's policies were worried that tariffs may have an impact on hiring. Is this your sense that tariffs so far have not had an impact on hiring?
I think there's absolutely no evidence that there's been an impact on hiring. I think there's no evidence there's been an impact on prices either. The job creation numbers continue to move along decently from month to month. There's no macroeconomic significant evidence of inflation in goods and imported goods from tariffs. In fact, inflation has been running at a 1.5% rate since the president took office, which is actually well below where the Fed wants it to be.
Since we're waiting on this vote on the House floor on the big, beautiful bill, let me take this opportunity to ask you, what do you see as the impact of that when it's signed into law?
Oh, the One Big Beautiful Bill is going to be huge. It has huge incentives for labor supply, things like no tax on overtime, no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security. It's got enormous incentives for investment, full expensing on new factories, on equipment and R&D. These are such big incentives for companies to bring back manufacturing to the United States, to build factories and invest in the future, invest in more capital stock. And all that pushes the economy out. It pushes supply out. It increases economic growth. It increases wages by about $10,000.
দোস্ত থাম, মাথা ঘুরাই রঙে, এবার বুঝি ভাইরাল হবে, হাসপাতালে ঢঙে।
President's other policies, it's going to reduce the deficit by about $8 to $11 trillion over the next decade.
Your boss, President Trump, has teased the possibility of a trade deal with India. Let's play him, and I'll get you to react to it.
I think we're going to have a deal with India, possibly.
আকাশে উঠে রকেটের ঝাঁক, ভূমিকাপে কাঁধে জনতার হাট, ইরান ইসরায়েল আগুনের খেলা, ধ্বংসে ভরে যাচ্ছে শহরের মেলা।
Could we expect a deal later today or in the coming days, and what would be the impact of that?
Look, the president is one of the best negotiators in history. He has spent decades negotiating hundreds of deals across everything from commercial real estate to financial markets to international trade and with Congress. And he's proven that he can deliver trade deals that are great for America. Look at the Vietnam deal yesterday. Look at the deal with the UK. I'm optimistic that we're going to get a number more deals before the July 9th deadline because the president has arranged it that other countries are just lining up to make concessions to the United States, to tell the United States we want to do business with you and we're willing to be fairer and we're willing to open our markets for you. So I'm not going to get ahead exactly of how those negotiations are going to plan out in the next few days, but I am actually quite optimistic that we'll get more. I mean, the Vietnam deal is great.
দেখা দেখি সবাই চায়, কেউ বানায় কেউ খায় জানা, তবু দেখি ট্রেন্ডিং পায়। বুদ্ধি ছাড়া ভিউর খেলা, ফেসবুকে চলে নিত্য মেলা।
Powell says he would have cut rates this year if not for the tariffs. How do you respond?
Well, I think we have an abundance of evidence that the tariffs are not inflationary in any meaningful way. First of all, we ran this experiment in 2018-2019 with the president's first round of historic tariffs on China, which raised tons of revenue and helped finance the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, just as the tariffs now will help finance the One Big Beautiful Bill. I mean, the idea of putting tariffs on foreigners
পরিশ্রমের কথা শোনালে স্বপ্ন যতই বড় হোক না কেন তোমারই হবে জয়।
2019, and thus far we've got months of evidence so far because this has been tariffs have been going on since the first day of President Trump's second term. And again, there's no evidence of any significant inflation. When you look at higher frequency data from stores and online, again, there's no macroeconomically significant evidence of it. So, I think that the Fed has, the Fed is a little hung up on this issue when there's an abundance of evidence that's not something to materially worry about.
Stephen Miran, a big day for the Trump White House on the economic front. Stephen, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.